Welcome to Abiding Place. It's December 9th, 2019. Thank you, Lord, for opening up the door for us to come in and spend time with you and get new, fresh revelation and you showing us your wonderful mysteries. And we thank you that you have opened up that door for us and that you love us as you do, and it's a safe place to go straight into the heavenly realms with you. And we welcome all heavenly beings to join us, the seven spirits of God, the men in white linen, cloud of witnesses, our angels. We welcome you all to join us. Holy Spirit, thank you for guiding us, since you lead us into all truth. And I just feel that we are entering into Him who has given us everything that we need in Him, and that we just enter into Him where everything we need is. Which is into perfection and love.
I just really sense, I just feel myself very drawn into a position of receiving, and that, yeah, that provision, that love, that abundance of no lack of any kind, that is the nature of the Father. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting whacked here already.
Well, yeah, I was feeling like a complete sense of like being full, like nothing lacking.
Yeah.
Not even anything desired because it's all there already. That we don't even have to desire anything because it's already all there. Like this huge, I don't want to say it's weightiness. I think it's just the glory.
Well, in the 90s with the Toronto Blessing, we talked about soaking or marinating. I'm feeling just like that.
Mhm.
Just, yeah. But I feel like Papa just wants to give, and our work is to receive,
Mm-hmm.
and not that we have to work into it, but that's, we often want to run around and do, but it's the receiving. Hold still, I want to give you something.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like when you're carrying boxes and you just, people just keep loading boxes on and on and on and on, and it's just so much that you can barely stand. It's so heavy because there's so much, the abundance. It's almost like I'm feeling that. Like you can only take
That's why
so
you fell
much.
down.
Yeah.
Remember? That's how it went. So funny.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's this going in a position of receiving versus asking, you know?
Mm. Wow.
And I think also when we receive so much, it's so easy for us to give then.
That's exactly it. And just have a sense that, as our existing ways of getting along in the world are shifting, um, being able to come and receive in heaven is important. And then to bring and to show others how to come, you know, it's not about just us. Us matters and is important, but the bringing it, being being sourced in heaven and being a source to others from a restful, peaceful, fun, receiving place.
Because people really do have a hard time receiving. They're like, oh no, I got it. I have it. I got it. I have it. I don't need any help, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a complete different mindset.
I'm sure feeling the feelings, but I don't have a visual. Kathy, do you have a sense of place, or anybody else, anything sensory?
Well, my sensory was went in and it was like I was getting loaded up. Like my arms were out and I was just like, it was just like overwhelming. so much. I don't know. That's was my visual.
Well, you say that, and I get a picture of like a warehouse in heaven and beings like, here, take this and this and this and this, just piling you up.
Yep, that's exactly what I was seeing. It was like so plentiful. My goodness. Because you know, the just knowing that everything you need is in him, but you have to go in him in order to receive. Because it's not everything you need is from him, it's in him. It's very different.
Wow. In him we live and move and have our being as well.
John Lee said, innocence, just being.
I missed that first word, Michelle. Can you repeat?
John Lee said, innocence, just being.
Yeah.
No, it's just so good to meditate in that which you said, Kath, about in him all provision exists, and just really recognize the gift, because that I was seeing this is just a gift. Provision is a gift from our Father, you know, and it's a totally different mindset than a mindset of I have to work to earn a living, you know. And also I was getting the provision, of course, isn't only it's any form of provision, whatever is needed, even in relationships and so on. You know, there's the provision from the Father, favor, just in every way. There's the provision in the Godhead for everything.
I seem to be hearing the Father saying, I want you to have everything, everything you need. I want you to know you have everything. And maybe that's what we're here to learn to receive, is that knowledge that in Him we do have everything. If that makes any sense.
Perfectly.
I was smelling this fragrance,
Mm.
um, like the fragrance from will be place.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
All of that is, was, and will be, is all ours.
And I think we can even go into the was and provide for areas that we lacked even now, like go back to the was when we lacked and provide.
Mm. That's beautiful. That's healing the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So often, that made me think back over my life, and there's been a lot of extremity, and um, so often the provision was grace to endure. It wasn't just the thing that came in and made it all better, but somehow the grace to
Yeah. Pulled you through.
and how those experiences brought strength.
And a pleasing fragrance.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
I think we just let the Lord go deep into our being, with this reality, so that it isn't only something that we quote, but it's actually, as you said earlier, Quinn, it's actually very real. And we don't just know about the reality, but we know the reality. And as new creation beings, and if we need, just to let the Lord minister to any areas in the was where, as you said, there was a lack. And also I was reminded about, that's the very thing that the enemy tempted Eve with, was God isn't enough for you. God is withholding from you something that's really good, that you'd really like,
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, I was exactly thinking that in the was, we've created belief systems that have perpetuated the lack, right? And without knowledge, the people perish. And so receiving that knowledge that his heart was always to share everything with us. He said to the older son, don't you know everything has been yours all along? There's nothing I have that's not yours. And he was mad that the prodigal was getting the goodies. And he's like, no, no, no. But he had a belief system that didn't include that level of generosity of his father. Or his belief system, he had a false identity belief. So go deep in us, Papa. We choose to allow you, we invite you to rewire in our past and in our now, and all resonant memory through our being, our DNA, our lineages, replace with the truth of who we are. Remove all false beliefs about who you are and about who we are. Let us live in truth. You have permission, Papa, Isa, Spirit, to deconstruct and rewire all false structures in my thinking.
Yes, agreed.
Show us who we are. Help us to know.
And I'm just reminded about rest and being in this place of rest and embracing the rest at all times. to just engage in the rest with the Lord, and then things open up of provision, whatever it is, you know.
Mm.
I think it's the residue of the independent thinking or the separation mentality.
Mhm.
Is being deconstructed.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen. Maraha.
Yeah. We disagree with the need to do things in our own strength, Father. We disagree with those old patterns. We disagree with being afraid of the future, afraid of lack, and we disagree with all fear. Disagree with the orphan mentality. It's not our mentality. Agree with the limited thinking instead of, and we embrace the unlimitedness of your awesome provision, Father, to go deep into our innermost being and to actually minister to our soul and bless our soul with total freedom. Mm. I was just getting, there's never been lack, because in Him we live and move and have our being. So whenever we have lacked, it hasn't been because there is lack.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't engaged into Him, in rest and recognition of His provision for whatever it was.
We've believed and agreed with our experience, our external experience, rather than our internal reality.
Yeah, right. That's huge, actually. This is really a breaking through and breaking free, I feel.
May it be. Yes, yes.
Are others sensing the same?
Yeah, because I think we came into agreement with the lack.
Right. Yes, me says yes. Mm-hmm.
John Elise says yes, yes.
And the lie that we were taught was that you have to, do it yourself. You have to be self-sufficient and
independent.
Yes.
Yeah, the culture has agreed and perpetuated, and we just don't want to live there anymore.
Yeah, because that's
Well,
not.
and I was just getting to that. When we go into him who has everything for us, that it's also in perfection. So not only does he provide, but he provides perfectly.
Exactly. Exactly. And abundantly beyond what we ask, because that's his nature.
Yeah, like little Kathy with her arms full of presents.
Yeah. Yeah. And an unlimited way as to how and to what, for that provision. So that we can move, we're moving, I believe, from what I think you said it earlier, Kath, that it's not about coming to God for something, but coming into the fullness of his provision as Father to us. And that's different than oh, I'm going along fine. Oh, I've got this need. Now let me go, Father. This need, that's different. Living a lifestyle of recognizing that Father's provision is mine all the time, whatever it is, and that's where my provision actually is.
And if it's and it's not even material things necessarily, it's more connections, people, words, direction. I mean, it's provision for everything in our lives.
Yes,
everything.
Exactly. Exactly.
People, helpers, support, teachers, you name it.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, Lord.
I am a living testimony to that.
Yay.
He is enough.
Oops.
Whoops.
Yeah, she said he is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, John Lee.
And where we can lose it is how. How is how doesn't knowing how doesn't require faith. Knowing how, because then if I know how it works, then I can do something to help make it happen, right?
Yeah, the how isn't important. Exactly.
The how is where we
Yep.
over the material end of it. Yeah, but how? Yeah, that's a nice dream, but how are you going to do that, right? Those are the life-killing words, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And the how is none of our business. Our business is alignment and agreement with the Father's heart toward us.
Yes, that's good, Quinn.
And who he says we are.
I see us with this, like that Father's given us these call it a mantle, and it reminds me of Joseph's coat of many colors, and it's a provision mantle, and it's the clothing that we wear, that we are distinguished as the sons of the Father, and therefore in the household of the Father, and we are clothed with that provision, clothed with abundant provision. You know how you can see by looking at someone, you know, who's wearing a very beautiful diamond tiara or something like that, you know, you can see what they're wearing and you can see provision on them. And so it was that kind of a thing that I was sensing with this Father just putting this mantle of provision garment on us, you know, clothing us with the abundance of his provision so that we actually are clothed with it. We actually wear it. And it's the truth. And then the enemy tried to say you don't have enough of what you need and God's withholding it from you. But in actual fact, we're really clothed with everything of provision. And we're not lacking in any way.
Amen.
Yeah. I just also felt like that there was these streams of Father's heart that he was taking us into. And Kathy, you mentioned it earlier, that it's various different forms or different aspects of provision, but it encompasses any possible provision we may possibly ever consider or ever desire or need, you know. All these different avenues of provision that are going to open up for us in these days, that we're going to become aware more and more of seeing that those different types of provisions that are, you know, we're going to experience. Because they've always been there, but we've just been letting go today of anything hindering our oneness in this, our place in this, you know, the constructs of our mind. And emotions and will and choices and everything, yeah. And how it's affected the body, you know. No, we've talked about recognizing our name in the Adam, meaning gates of the never-ending supply of heaven. And yet here it's like we are also the recipients of the never-ending supply of heaven. And there's something about the love of Daddy that's coming into us through this, I believe. Going deeper than what we have known and securing us firmly in reality.
Well, the never-ending supply of heaven needs to come into the gate before it can go out of the gate.
Yes, exactly.
Passing through. Wow. I still have like a drunk going on here. No, I'll take it. It's been a while. I don't know if anybody got to see Frozen 2 yet.
No.
Do. Because there's a picture of this in there too, of not realizing who you are and then really getting who you really are and owning it and coming into it.
And I love what you said earlier, Quinn, that we don't need to ask for it, we just receive it. Because it's already there, it's already provided. Mm.
Hearing a tone and I'm feeling it like resonating.
Yes, I thought that was one of you guys.
Oh, I was mimicking it a little bit before I talked about it.
Well, you matched it.
That's what we do. We mirror back.
it also becomes so much fun. It's such a lot of fun because there is so much different way or so much different kind of provision and things not even thought about. And when we're in this place of embracing our true daddy, daddy for his true nature and everything, it begins to become a fun adventure with regard to everything to do with provision,
Hmm.
Mm.
And then it's fun to be a source.
Mm. Yeah.
Streams of living water,
Yeah.
rivers in the desert. How fun is that?
Mm. Mm.
Bringing life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being a snowflake.
So pretty.
Mm.
His water is in everything.
Mm.
Living water. Imagine living with an expectation of provision instead of an expectation of lack. Imagine trust because of love as the default instead of fear, and figuring out how to survive. That how again. That would have been the garden. And we say provision, and we think of having what we need as that, but Eden was beyond need into delight.
Yes, and at his presence, and his presence is fullness of joy and
Pleasures forevermore.
pleasures. Yeah.
And so, with an understanding of provision being bliss, and that's not to say there isn't a time or place for action, but the knowledge of what to do is the provision, right? And coming from peace, coming from rest, acting from confidence and expectation of good, instead of desperately trying to plug up the holes or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And just for that to be the natural state of being. Well, where'd you get that? Well, I needed it. Well, how'd you do that? Well, I got it. It came.
Yeah. How did it come? I don't know. It just came.
It came because I needed it. Or even, I mean, my evangelical upbringing, forgive me, but because I wanted it.
Yeah, because it's been provided, it's all available, every blessing or provision of any sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
I already had it. Where'd you get it? I already had it.
I already had it. Yeah.
Where'd that come from? It was already mine.
Yes.
I just manifested it because I needed it now. I already had it.
That innocence of just being.
Yes, that's the childlike, and I pictured it as that kind of response. Where'd you get that? My dad gave it to me.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? I needed it, so
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah.
That innocence, yeah, and from being just because you're loved, and you're loved lavishly. Wee!
Wee! It's like I see us on these swings, these with the long chains, just swinging away, like in this freedom. Yeah, free. That's freedom, isn't it?
Yes.
Freedom. That's coming into the place where we are learning to engage as it would have been before the fall.
Yeah.
And just create with words and just release because we know we have it, and just, yeah. Just release the materialize things, change things from one substance to another because it's already ours, it's already available.
Yeah. It already exists that way.
Yeah, because there's no lack. There's no lack in Father. There's just no lack, really. Lack is a fantasy that we've believed and made real, actually, so that it became,
Yeah.
It's like what's the word? Like reenacting walking on water. It's just there, and we walk and do.
Wow.
Be.
Yes, yes, yes. So unless you become like one of these little ones, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Or some translations say you will not see the kingdom of heaven. And so that childlike innocence is required for turning into heaven and experiencing heavenly things. But also, I think, for having experiencing heaven through us into the earth. That confident expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it, so I have it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the true reality.
Yeah. And you need it, so you have it. You needed it, so I agree with you that it's yours.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we agree, just like we agreed, Michelle, that you need a buyer, so you have a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's already there. You need it, so you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad gave it to you.
And I think I just feel like to say, Father, I agree to, I don't know how to quite put this, but I'm opening up beyond the level I've been at in knowing your provision and knowing your heart in this. I'm opening up beyond that to this place of like, to say, Father, your lavishness, the lavishness of your abundance, the depths of your thoughts towards me. And you can agree with this as well, that I'm opening up to this. Anything that, where I wasn't open to it, where I wasn't even recognizing it, I'm just opening up to it and just saying, yes, I'm going deeper into the love that you have for me, Father. So I'm opening up to receive that level that I hadn't known before, that I wasn't consciously aware of, I want to be consciously aware and see and open my heart up and say, yes, I receive to that level that you actually are, Father, to me. I receive that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. I know it's desire of Father's heart that we would let him love us, really love us, And even though we've walked in faith and used scriptures and said, yeah, we stand on this and we stand on that, it's still been works in a way,
Yes.
Something about just coming into this love with Father and just coming into this place, which I'm just so agreeing with. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Daddy takes all the works thoughts out of everything. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Hmm. Well, I think we've received something deep here. Are people just enjoying soaking, or are we feeling complete for now? I know this is going to keep working in us. It's pretty awesome.
I'm feeling complete.
Mm. Everyone else, you're muted in case you didn't know.
I feel complete.
Yes.
We are so thankful. Provision is a past tense, ongoing event.
Yeah, and
These-
I see that as we really live in this reality, then we'll see the manifestations like Jesus even more so, where because there was nothing that he ever indicated he ever lacked at any time. There was always the provision. It was always most of the time instantaneously, immediately. Yeah. So yeah, that manifestation level begins to flow out of us.
Mhm.
Mm.
Bringing in.
And seriously, how do you even put this into words without experiencing it? I don't think you really can.
Revelation of provision
Hmm.
might be the way to describe it.
But
Yeah.
it's so massive that
I know.
Well, yes, that's just a thumbnail.
Yeah, and it just goes so above and beyond that whole orphan mentality into that true mentality, and it really it is exactly what you said. It's mind-boggling, as it were. It's never ending. It's over.
yeah.
It's glorious. It has no limitations in which it may manifest.
Mm-mm.
Fully available at all times.
So we just acknowledge that we've caught the tail of this. We've caught a glimpse, a beginning of it, and received it. And we trade it for an even more full understanding and experience of it on this sea of glass. And we put it in our mountain, our garden, our heart. Because this is something we want foundational. This is something we want earthed in us and through us into the earth. This is what being little Christs looks like.
Yep.
So we take that and it's your work, Father. You've begun a good work in us, and we're trusting you to complete it. The how is not our problem.
Nope.
But we're thankful. We are so thankful, and we receive with gratitude, and we want to keep receiving so that we can pour
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
Amen.
Wonderful.
Pecha, yes.
Amen.